But thanks, sweetie. The point that I was trying to make is that a lot of people get into this business and they have their own perception of what the business is. And as soon as something happens that doesn't meet that expectation or their perception, they quit. Rather than learning to adapt and growing with the business, and understanding the process, they just quit. And so that's why I feel it's our job as ambassadors in this industry and ambassadors of For Life to teach people the process so that there's no surprises, and that can be anything from the pay plan. When somebody thinks they're going to be getting a bonus for something and they don't, maybe they sponsored 3 people and they didn't have all 3 people in the loyalty program. And they thought they were going to get a builder bonus and they didn't. Well, now they get all bummed out and borderline depressed rather than saying, you know what, now I understand it. Next time around, I'm going to make sure I do it the right way. So it's our responsibility to educate and make sure that as we, get new people involved, we have to hold their hands to start with. You got to crawl and then walk and then jog and then run. So it's our job to teach people. Now, when it comes to the business, I find it interesting because all this week I've been talking about this. Why do we do this business? What are the reasons that we have chosen to do this type of business? And that's what I want to talk about today. And I've got 12 reasons, but what I'm doing is when I get done with my 12, I ask everybody to think of something negative. And every single time, 100%, it has nothing to do with the business. It has to do with their perception or their attitude. It could be something like rejection. The business isn't rejecting you, right? That's your perception. That's your attitude. If somebody said no, for somebody to think that everyone's going to say yes, come on, that's a pipe dream, all right? So, but that again, that's you as an individual, nothing to do with the business model, you see? Or if somebody says it's a pyramid, all right? Once you explain it to them, again, that's their perception. But if you explain to them why it's not a pyramid, and the easiest way to explain it's not a pyramid, you get paid for what you build. It's that simple. It's the most honest business in the world, all right? In a traditional business or a company, you go apply for a job. So now your ability to go into a good job interview, if you do a good interview, have a good resume, you might get a decent job, all right? You still got to have some skills, whereas they're gonna tell you what you're worth, all right? Here's what we're gonna pay you for your talent. In this business, you create your own income. It's the most honest business there is. And it's the opposite of a corporate pyramid. And the way I prove to people, I say, look, you get paid for what you build. If you sponsor 3 people, you're going to get paid for sponsoring 3. If I sponsor 1, I'm going to get paid for sponsoring 1. That's it. I'll get paid a lot less. So it all depends on what you build. Your upline can make a lot less than you. It's not a pyramid. But then I like to kind of turn it on them a little bit and I ask them what they do for a living. And most people, they tell me I work at such and such company. And then I just ask them, okay, how many CEOs have you got? And they'll always say 1. How many presidents you got? Might be the same person. 1. All right. And you got vice presidents. You got more than 1 usually in vice presidents. And then you got regional reps. You got district reps. And as you go down the corporate ladder, there's more people and they get paid less money. So guess what? You're in a corporate pyramid. You see, so you try not to do it in a mean-spirited way. I try to make my point, and I invite them. I say, look, okay, if you want to say mine's a pyramid, you can turn it upside down. Everyone starts at that little point on the bottom, and as they work their way up, there's plenty of room on the top for everybody. And that's my way of explaining the whole pyramid thing. But again, that's pure perception. It's not truth or reality. See? So let's run through these 12 reasons. And Kev or anybody, just jump on in, and if you want to add one or elaborate on one, I'm just going to go down the list real quick, and I'm going to have this list, both of these documents on the website in the education library, the reasons why we do this business, and you should memorize them. At least memorize 10 of them. They're not that hard to memorize, and that way, when you find yourself talking to somebody, and they ask you what you do for a living, you can use one of them. work from home. Well, I don't want to tell them all right now. Let's go through the list, all right? And then just imagine yourself talking to someone and they ask you about your business. Throw out 3 or 4 or 5 of these 10 reasons you're doing this business and the benefits of the business. 1, work from home. Think about it. How many people are in quarantine? All right. We've got the most amazing tools today. We live in the age of communication and information. Everything's available right on the internet. WhatsApp, Messenger, LinkedIn, Pinterest, go on and on. Instagram, go on and on. We are able to communicate with people all over the world. All right. Right from home, in quarantine, don't have to leave your house. In fact, I've been in my house since February 7th. I think I've been out half a dozen times, 6 times, usually to go get some food or something. And that's about it. And I will admit, though, I am getting a bit of cabin fever. I feel like I need to kind of go somewhere to the beach or something. But the point is that for me, it's normal to work from home. I've been doing it for 40 years. So you can make a fortune working from home. What a great benefit. I'm in my office in my home. Number 2, build yourself an international business. All right. I mean, wouldn't it be nice to be able to work from home and build yourself a business that's international using these tools, Zoom, WhatsApp, Messenger, Facebook, Pinterest, on and on, email. It has no boundaries, no borders. You could be talking to someone on Zoom and they can be your neighbor right next to you, or they can be on the other side of the world. And a lot of my Zoom calls now, like the Spanish one I just finished, had 117 people. And I bet you there's probably 25 countries on there between Europe and South America, the US, Australia, people from all over the place. So again, international business you can have very quickly. Number 3, no overhead, no operating expenses. Again, work from home. Don't have to pay rent, don't have to maintain inventory, don't have to have employees. You can have 1 million people in your organization and not have 1 employee. The company takes care of all that for you. They have the heavy load. David Lisenby and Company, he's got to pay all the expenses. He's got to pay for all the registrations around the country, around the world, in all the countries, the health ministry, the ministries of health, the licenses, the offices, the inventories, the employees, all that. David Lisenby carries that load. Us, 1 simple job. Talk to people, share a message, and look for people that are ready. If they're not ready, no big deal. Move on to the next one. It's that simple. Number 4, earn while you learn. And this is where I like to use analogies with people. If I'm talking to them, I said, I find it interesting that a lot of people, they'll go spend money, go to a college, to learn a trade or, to try to start a career. They'll spend 4 years, usually minimum, getting a bachelor's degree. And in those 4 years, they were only educated. They got no experience. So 4 years of just learning, you pay for the education, so you didn't get no income. You didn't have any experience. Imagine if you put the same 4 years of time, energy, knowledge, that you learn into this business. You get to earn while you learn. I love that. You can start your business, you can learn it, you'll earn money, and you're going to get experience. Experience is your greatest education in the world. There's no better teacher than experience. And that's what you learn here. Earn while you learn. Number 5, you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. Now, these are all one-liners, a lot of these I learned in my career. You're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. Anybody that starts a business in the traditional world out there, they're on their own, unless you bought a franchise and somebody comes in to train you, all right? But even then, you're on your own a lot. But if you start a clothing business or you sell cell phones or electronics or a restaurant or whatever, you got to do things on your own, all right? Here, you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. You're with a team. There's people always available that you can plug into, inspire you. And if you can't find them live like this, just go on YouTube. There's so many motivators out there now, especially in network marketing, helping, teaching, educating, inspiring, mentoring, all right? So you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. The team needs you just like you need the team, all right? Number 6, residual income. Very few people ever experience residual income in their lives because they exchange time for money. Again, a lot of them go to school, and they get an education. Now they go get a job. We all know what job stands for, just over broke. No employer is going to pay the employee to get rich. They're going to pay you just enough to get enough work from you so the company can grow, so you can build their dream. Why don't you build your own dream? All right. So here you can establish a residual income. You're not going to just exchange time for money. Now, you're going to be busy, but you get to buy your time back. As you build your business, planting seeds, talking to people, right? Not stressing about it, but working hard, all right? And taking it seriously, but having fun. You're going to find that you will find people interested. Look at COVID-19 hit the world. You think people didn't get interested about their immune system? I know people don't, in the past, they don't walk up to someone and say, how are you doing today, George? How's your immune system today? No. But I guarantee you, since COVID hit, people are talking about immunity. I hear it on TV every day. They're talking about how to protect your immune system, keep yourself healthy. We've got the answer. We're the immune system company. So residual income, you're planting seeds. You're going to get paid tomorrow for what you did today. And continue to get paid. You can sign somebody up today, whether they're a customer or they become a distributor. If they buy something 6 months from now or a year from now, you're going to get paid. All right. You get paid for what you start, not just what you do. I like that concept, getting paid for what I start. I start it today and continue to get paid down the road for my efforts today. All right. And number 7 goes hand in hand with that. As you're building a residual income, you're not just doing it for yourself. This is your business. You entered into a contract, just like I did with For Life. The contract has 2 sides. All right. It's an agreement. David Lisenby has agreed that he will do something if we do something. He will keep 36%. He will pay all the expenses, all the employees, maintain the inventory, all the licenses in all the countries, open new offices, expand the business around the world. He carries a heavy load. 36% he keeps for that. He gives us 64% to do one thing only: share a message, become a messenger, be a good messenger. Now the day's going to come where all of us are going to, pass away. We're not going to be on the planet. All right. Well, guess what? Your business lives on. Right. And Dave Phillips is a good example of that. Dave Phillips passed away last year. When Dave Phillips passed away, he's a Gold International Diamond. He passed his business to his son. The guy only makes about $185,000 a month. Got the business from his dad, enjoying his Ferraris and Maseratis and living in wherever he lives in Washington. All right. But here's the point. His dad, look what he did for his prosperity. He broke the chain of poverty. All right. And he created wealth. All right. And his family is enjoying it. Same thing, I pray that, the day I pass away, my business is still platinum with platinums below it and everything. And I've left it for my family. Your business lives on. You can sell it. You can give it away if you want. And speaking of that, a quick story. A gentleman in Mexico years and years ago, his name was Paulo Navarro. And Paulo, in Mexico City, his mom joined For Life. And then he did join. I think he made it to Diamond. And he was the only one of her kids that joined the business. And she got to Presidential Diamond, almost to International, and she died. And if I recall, I think she had a heart attack. And when she passed away, her position was Presidential Diamond. Well, for about, 5 years or more than 5 years, the family was fighting over who got that income because she didn't leave a will, no testament to anybody. The For Life, they can't give it to someone, you see. So it went to the courts. It was in probate. It sat there for years in Mexico. That position went to International Diamond, on its way to almost gold. So it went from making a few thousand a month to making probably close to 20,000 a month of income. The family was fighting over it. Finally, they all decided what to do and they settled in court. But the point is this: that business lives on for you and your family. Okay. So if you are making, more than a few thousand a month, even a couple thousand a month, even 1,000 a month, have a will. All right. Write something up so that if anything happens to you, For Life knows what to do with your business. Okay. Number 7. This is one very few people think of. People spend thousands of dollars going to see Tony Robbins, John Maxwell, the late Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, and they're wonderful people to listen to. They really inspire you and pump you up. But guess what? The helium wears off over time. It could be a day or two or a week or two, and you find yourself back to normal, same old routine. Here in this business, it's the world's greatest personal development course. Why? Experience, experience, experience. If you get in and you do the things we should do as networkers, you are going to develop skills, social skills, leadership skills. Patience is a skill, identifying people, how to work up the food chain, Kevin calls it. You learn these skills by exercising your talents and growing and developing in this business. You cannot get to gold or platinum without changing, growing, developing. And that's why I always say, if you want to earn more, you must become more. You work on yourself as much as you work on your business. And that's done just by exercising your talents, your skills, and developing those. And that happens by presenting, talking to people. That's the only way you're going to get better and better and become a professional network marketer. All right. So this is it's hidden, it's disguised as the world's greatest personal development course there is. All right. And number nine, I learned when I was really young. I was 21 years old, just got in network marketing, had big dreams, had a great mentor. His name was Joe Land. And Joe, he was a funny guy. He called me up one Friday night. I was just getting ready to go out with my buddies. I'm single. We were going to go have fun, party, on a Friday night. He calls me up and he says, "What are you doing, David?" And I said, "I'm getting ready to go out with my buddies." He says, "No, you're not. Get a tie on, put your jacket on. I'm going to pick you up in 30 minutes. We're going to go to a seminar." And I said, "Joe, I don't want to go." He goes, "You're going. I'll be there in 30 minutes. And he hangs up. He shows up, picks me up, gives me my ticket while we're in the car. We get to the seminar, and it was over 500 people in the venue. It's like an auditorium. And I sit down. I look at my ticket. It's the first row. Oh, it's pretty cool. I go sit down, row number one. Right in front of me, not even 10 feet away, is the microphone. All right, the person that's going to speak, podium. Joe sits next to me on my left. On my right, 3 men come and sit down. One, his hair is almost white. The next guy's hair is gray. And the next guy's bald, no hair at all. Well, the guy that sits next to me, he looks at me and he says, "Young man, what's your name?" And I said, "I'm David Daughtrey." And he goes, "Hey, nice to meet you, David. My name's Jim Rohn." I didn't know who Jim Rohn was. I had no clue. Well, by the time he was done that night talking, I was mesmerized. I was starstruck. This guy's the world's greatest business philosopher. He's a billionaire, not a millionaire, billionaire. So I learned a lot from Jim, all right? Next to him, the next guy reaches over and shakes my hand. He goes, "Hey, David, good to meet you. I'm Zig Ziglar." And I thought Zig was a pretty funny name, at the time. Turns out he's one of the world's greatest, personal coaches and motivators there is. "See You at the Top" by Zig Ziglar. The next guy next to him reaches over, shakes my hand. He goes, "David, I'm Mark Victor Hansen. Good to meet you." Mark Victor Hansen, you can look him up. He's one of the authors of Chicken Soup for the Soul. Again, billionaire. All right. In fact, he told me a funny story. He moved to Newport Beach, California, simply because there's more Rolls Royces in Newport Beach than any other city in the world. And he always wanted a Rolls Royce. So he figured, if I want a Rolls Royce, I'm going to hang around people that have Rolls Royces. And he moved to Newport Beach. So anyhow, funny guy. I learned so much that night. And what I learned from that, it's called success by association. What changed in my mind that night is I had to differentiate going out with my 21-year-old buddies partying or learning from Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Mark Victor Hansen, Joe Land, my mentor. And I decided to associate myself with millionaires and billionaires. And guess what? It rubbed off on me. All right. It's going to happen to anyone that associates with people like that. All right. So you are who you associate yourself with. And that's why I love this business. You get to associate yourself with people that are successful. We've got now in my organization 129 millionaires. All right. These are people that are on Zoom. They're talking all the time as well. The 2 latest ones are Estela Carpio and Angeles Munoz. Estela's in Ecuador and Angeles is in Spain. 2 women. And they're the first platinums in their countries. In fact, even in their continents. First platinum in South America and first platinum in Europe. Pretty exciting. So success by association. Number 10, where in the world can you start a business and have offices all over the world to support you? close to 2,000 employees there to support you and work for you. They do all your shipping. They take care of all the orders. They process everything. They do all your customer service, distributors. They do the heavy load, all right? You've got all your tools, Connect app, business app. You got your own personal website, multiple languages, multiple countries. Inventory is all taken care of around the world. All the registrations are paid for. Everything's ready for less than $200. You get your franchise. You get your inventory, your 2 bottles of Plus or whatever you've got, Energy, Pro TF, whatever, and you start your business. And number 11, I call it plug and play. You don't have to deal with this stuff. You can start your business today and you're making money tonight and getting paid tomorrow because Rapid Rewards and My For Life sales pay every day. So when I talk to people and I tell them all the great benefits of this business and the one I've not even mentioned, all of this you can do in a few years. You can compress a lifetime of work down into a few simple years. Why? Because everything's ready for you to plug and play and get going and duplicate your efforts, and you don't have to deal with all that other stuff, so you can focus and you can accomplish a lot more by having more hours in the day, by having more people on your team that you're working with, training, inspiring, mentoring, educating, helping, all that. So now you've duplicated yourself. You got more hours in the day, more people. What if you had 100 people around the world doing a presentation every day? Do you think your business would grow? Of course. That's how you do the business. So those are all the reasons why I do the business. Now, what I find invariably when I talk to someone and I ask them to give me anything negative, in fact, let's have some fun here real quick. Anybody tell me anything negative about this business? All right. I see we have Goldie with us over in Malaysia there. If anyone, just raise your hand, your digital hand or your hand right here. I'd like to hear anyone that's anything negative, all right, about this business. Anybody? Angie.
Yeah, the one I hear a lot is I can't sell. I don't like sales. That's the one I get a lot.
Has nothing to do with the business. Has to do with you. It's you.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
Every time it always has to do with them. All right. And the reality is, okay, I would just tell them, okay, look, a lot of people don't like selling, but have you ever shared anything with anybody? Have you ever recommended anything before? Why don't you try it? And if you like it, recommend it. Think of it that way. All right. But what about adapting? All right. Because that's just you. It has nothing to do with the business model. All right. I mean, if I pulled up in front of your house with a Mercedes-Benz and said, here's the keys. If you go and give 10 presentations to 10 people tonight, you get the keys, whether they join or not. Would you do it? Of course you would. For a brand new Mercedes-Benz? Of course. So it's all perception. It's all in your, and that's, I'll say something. That's not easy to get people to overcome their perception. You have to really just get sincere with them and say, look, okay, what other options do you have? If you don't want to start your own business, if you start a restaurant, you're going to sell food. You start your cell phone business, you're going to sell cell phones and services. So, business makes the world go round. Every day we buy and sell. Every dollar we circulate comes back tenfold and enriches the environment. I learned that a long time ago. Anyhow, Angie, yeah, that's again perception. Nothing to do with the business model. But you're right. Some people are that way. Now, and when I started my business, I'd spend time trying to convince people. And I've come to learn that that's not my job. So today, when I come across someone like that personally, if it's a prospect that I'm talking to, I just move on. I don't have time for that necessarily today. In the beginning, I was more patient with that. If I'm talking to your prospect, Angie, yes, I will do my very best I can to get that person to think differently because it's your prospect and I have to do my job, which is to talk to your person that you invited me to talk to, and they could be right here on Zoom right now, or it could be a one-on-one call where you and me are talking to them, and I'll do my very best I can to get them to change their perception. But if they can't, we got to move on. Anybody else? Okay, here's things I get now and then. Pyramid, that's an easy one to overcome. They might say something like rejection, nothing to do with the business. That's you and your perception. It always comes down to it's about them as a person. So you've got to kind of remove that fear and get them to understand that the benefits of this business are well worth the adaptation. It's well worth learning to adapt to this business for all the benefits that are there. All right, it's life-changing. So I don't see any other hands going up here. So let's move on to phase number 2. Oh, Gabby. All right, sweetie. Sorry, sweetie.
I've been coming and going because I'm putting stuff away, but did you mention when people say the product is too expensive, especially in foreign countries? Did you?
That's one we get. That's when we get, and I try to work through that by using examples. The latest example is Bolivia. Bolivia is a very third world country. They grew in the last 90 days. Bolivia grew over 700%. They went from 300,000 LP a month in sales to 2.1 million. Think about that in 90 days. They had over 3,000 emails in 3 days, and they were all orders. Imagine that, 3,000 orders by email in 3 days. So the point is this: someone's got money. In the Dominican Republic, how do we get a platinum and a bunch of golds in a market that's doing about $1 million a month? The Dominican Republic. So again, that comes down to perception and attitude. You know, and I try not to sell bottles to people. I try to show them what they get every month for their 100 life points. We want to create value in, it's not all about this bottle. And I understand to some people it is. All they want is the bottle. They could care less about the business. But I try to show people what value they get by getting in, learning, and maybe they can get their product for free. Sponsor a few people and you get your product for free. Right? So, but again, that comes down to their perception. And yeah, I understand transfer factor is not the cheapest product in the world, but there's nothing like it. And what value, like you say, sweetie, what is your health worth? All right, what's the value of your health? Look at COVID. Would you rather spend, I don't know, 70 in Kenya, $80 per bottle in Kenya? Would you rather spend $80 for a bottle and, just feel comfortable knowing that you're protecting your immune system and yourself? Or would you chance it and maybe get sick and have something serious happen? So it's all about how you message it, how you share it, the value you put into it when you talk to people. Kev, you got anything else you want to mention about that, or any of the others that we've discussed?
One thing I just briefly is, people that say I don't like to sell, whenever you circle back, and it's kind of like selling has all of a sudden become like this negative connotation, right? But if you can get them to separate themselves from the terminology, because a lot of companies, even right now, especially with this new day and age and everything being so online and virtual, a lot of companies even call their business plan now social sharing. And if you want to call it social sharing, but I always talk to people and I'll say, hey, when was the last time you recommended a restaurant or a movie? Or, people recommend products all the time. And then I always just follow it up, kind of tongue in cheek, but I say, and did you get a commission check in the mail? Did they say, hey, thanks for the referral to the restaurant. Here's a little bit of bonus for that brokerage that you got that person to come to my establishment. So, a lot of times I think it's just a matter of getting people. Do you remember that video we did, Dave? This was a long time ago, but do you remember the video that For Life actually did a video where they went outside? It was like LA or New York or some big city. Remember that? And they said, I'm going to say something and I want you to give me the first thing that comes to your mind.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. That's right.
Remember? They come out and they say MLM. And people in candid moments, yep, on the streets of a big city would be like, oh, and they would just go through all these and a lot of times as they started to kind of peel back the layers, 90% of it, like you say, Dave, is about the person. I'd say the 10% is misinformed, right?
Right.
They just don't know. They think it's something that it's not, and they just need educated. So
that's it. And that's why our responsibility is as we talk to people, be good ambassadors, good messengers, and just make sure that when someone says no, they're saying no for the right reasons, because many times they're saying no because they don't understand. They never heard all the benefits. They don't know the process. But once you explain to them and you work with them and you show them by presenting with them, we're going to talk about that right now as well. But that's why you're called a sponsor. You're a sponsor because you're responsible for helping that person get started. You're not sponsoring them so they can make you money. You're sponsoring them so you can help them start a business and become successful. But you can't help them unless you've taken the time to prepare yourself. You're talking to people. You got some experience now. Even if you don't have experience, use your upline. That's what we're here for. So, but yeah. Let's talk now about the second phase that I want to get into, which is always having prospects. Everybody should have prospects. And the funny thing I find is that I have an endless supply of prospects, honestly. But those are prospects that I would be going after. I don't have a problem talking to people and talking to people for my people. I don't sponsor people right now today personally because I've got groups I'm working with all over the world and I've only got 24 hours in a day. I started as Kevin knows, we both started new groups in Brazil. I mean, Kevin's got 2 great leaders in Brazil under him, actually more than 2, Anderson, Luis, Ricardo, so he's got a lot of stuff going. In fact, he's got a celebrity in his downline now, Luis Laffy. Is Luis on here, by the way? I don't see he's not. Okay. He was on the Portuguese call. But Luis, he's a voiceover for all the celebrities when they do the voiceover in Portuguese for movies. He's been Scooby-Doo. He's been Morgan Freeman. I mean, he's been all the celebrities in Portuguese. So he joined 4Life recently. And guess what? He's David Lisenby's voice in the video. If you probably haven't watched it, you guys. If you watch the Portuguese version of Making Transfer Factor for the World, that's Luis. So anyhow, the point is, Kevin's very busy working those lines. Now, once those lines will take maybe the next 4 or 5 years to build golds out of there and maybe open platinum or 2, then you start another line. That's how the business works. But once you get someone good, they're going to take your time up because you're working with them, you're building with them. And I'm doing that now with groups, as Angie knows, Eugenio in Bolivia, Benito Garcia in Spain, Natalia in Brazil. And of course, we got the other Brazilians, Anderson, we've got Jonathan Castellano. These are all people that have joined or come back to 4Life just this year. Just those people I mentioned will keep Kevin and I busy for the next 4 or 5 years, okay? So let's talk about having an active prospect list. If you want an active prospect list, you got to go back to the time you were in kindergarten. Begin there and think of everybody that you've met in your life, all right? Now, what made me think of kindergarten? Because I got an email recently from my high school that I graduated from. I graduated in 1978. We would always say 78 is great. That's what we'd say at all the basketball games. Now, when I got the email, I clicked on it. They have, you've got your high school year that you graduated, and there's a list of all the people in your graduating class. Emails are there, and even some phone numbers. Not all of them put their phone number, but a lot of them have their email, all right, or social media tag, how to reach out to them. We live in a world of communication and information. When I saw that list of people from Viewmont High School, I saw ex-girlfriends, all right, hey, sweetie. I saw girls I went to the dances with. The point is, it jogged my memory. And then I saw guys that I would, on my wrestling team, I didn't play basketball. I was a horrible basketball player. So my winter sport was wrestling. In fact, I was even in a movie, you guys, called Takedown with Lorenzo Lamas, right? And we all got out of high school for about 2 weeks to film a movie. So anyhow, but I played football, wrestled, and then my spring sport was baseball. I saw these names of people. Man, my memory started coming back. So you've got an active candidate list that you're thinking about people, and you're expanding that list. Number 2, expand that list by constantly trying to jog your memory. Church, you got any friends at church? You go to church. Do you have any groups that you hang out with? Like Angie, you're a sailor, you're a boater. I'll bet you know other sailors, right? That's the world you live in. You know, if you're a soccer player, you know soccer players. You know, if you're a musician, you know musicians. So, you know, we are who we associate with.
David, can I share one thing really quickly here?
Yeah, bro.
This is Dave Daughtrey. He's Platinum International Diamond. He's learned and taught so many things over the last 20 years. He doesn't even use this acronym anymore, but he taught me this probably 15 years ago, and I still use it today. Remember when you used to give the acronym Frankie? So F was for, your family. I mean, your friends. These are your friends, the people that you might know. R for your relatives. A for your associates, maybe your business associates. N for your neighbors. K for your kids, because our kids have a different network than we do, right? Like, their soccer team, their baseball team, whatever. I for the internet, and E for your email contacts. I still use that acronym even today, Dave. I go back and I'm like, okay, it's a memory jogger, right? Just like, okay, who do I know? Friends, relatives, associates, neighbors, kids, internet, email. And I go through and I try to make sure that my list is active. So thought I'd share that.
And kids is a big one, especially in your family, bro.
Seriously, I can stay busy just with my kids' network forever,
And speaking of that, you all know J. Michael Smith. J. Michael Smith gets on a lot of our calls. In fact, I'm surprised he's not with us tonight. But I met J. Michael through the Longorias. How did I meet the Longorias? I met them through Brandon, our son. He plays Little League Baseball, or played Little League Baseball with Jaden. Jaden, they're best buddies. Jaden still hangs out at our house all the time. And I met Jaden's parents at a baseball game. They happened to be in another network marketing company, and we got talking and found out we both love network marketing. The company they were in went down. They called me. We talked. They joined For Life, and that led to J. Michael Smith. So the point is that, and this is the next one I want to talk about. Be aware of your environment. Increase your awareness. If you're at a baseball game, I don't know why you don't go to baseball games, but wherever you are, try to be aware. Just program yourself to do it. I'll give you an example. Diana, our daughter, she had her 31st birthday, and her boyfriend, Liam, I call him Liam Neeson all the time. Liam, he had invited his parents. I've never met his parents before. They come to the house, and this is during COVID. This is this last month, June. They come to the house, and I introduced myself, and we sat down in the living room. And one of the first things I asked, hey, sweetie, I believe was his name Michael? I want to say Michael, Liam's dad. Anyhow, so I say, hey, Michael, we're talking. What kind of work do you do? I'm curious. That's one thing. I'm always curious as to what people's profession or careers are. And it turns out he's a machinist. He makes parts for 35 years. He's made parts for airplanes, boats, and tanks, military parts. 35 years as a machinist, all right? And I listened.
His name is David.
Oh, that's right. Same. Duh, how could I forget? My middle name is Michael, all right? So yeah, his name is David. Okay. So David, after he got done telling me what he did, guess what he asked me? What do you do? What kind of work do you do? Well, that's all I was waiting for. And now I tell him, but I use the benefits of network marketing. I've got a business from home. I market a product all over the world. I just hit 2, home-based business, international business. I teach people how to establish wealth through a network marketing model. And I've got a product called Transfer Factor. It's literally borrowed immunity or immune system in a capsule. Who wouldn't want to hear about that during the age of COVID? Borrowed immunity? Tell me more. Yeah, we borrow immune information. And guess what? It's scientifically proven. You can even read about it on the internet. Let me give you some information, all right? So as I'm telling him about it, the guy next to me is a young man, 31 years old, same age as Diana. And he's married. He's got his wife next to him, and she was pregnant, I believe. And guess what he tells me? He's listening to the conversation because it's a party now. People have come. They're all sitting around. And I'm just telling David what I do. The guy next to me goes, hey, I'm in network marketing. I'm in Primerica. Primerica is an insurance program. It used to be called A.L. Williams. Art Williams was the founder. And they changed the name to Primerica. Well, as we got talking, the guy next to me, he became interested. You never know your surroundings, who's listening, all right? Be always aware and alert as much as you can. You don't want to bug people, but I honestly feel sometimes I'm bugging people. Even at the party, it turned out that I was talking to people. I felt like I was giving a seminar. I finally thought to myself, I better just chill. This is not an opportunity meeting. It's a party for our daughter. But anyhow, be aware, all right? Just enhance your awareness, okay? The next one, which is really important, is never prejudge anybody. That's the next one. Never prejudge. As you do share with people, or you think of people in your mind, don't make the decision for them. I promise you're going to be wrong more than you're right. You're going to think that they're going to do nothing, and they sign up and they do something. And then you think they're going to make you a millionaire because they talk a big talk, or you think that person's so successful they're going to get involved and make it to platinum in a year, and they do nothing. All right? Never prejudge. It's not your job. It's not my job. Our job is to present. Our job is to expose people to this and plant that seed. If you do a good job planting the seed and you water it well and you fertilize it well, it might harvest. All right? It might sprout for you. If not, move on. The seed's not ready to sprout yet. All right? And the next one, network on purpose, number 5. And this is one that Gabby's really good at. Network on purpose simply means that you need to put yourself out there. And right now it's difficult because of this quarantine. But Gabby, perfect example is last year when she invited me to go to Amy Yamada's seminar. Amy Yamada is an upcoming motivational speaker, coach. She wants to be like Tony Robbins. And the funny thing is, in fact, Gabby might even be able to elaborate on this one a little bit. We went to the seminar. Amy Yamada does what everyone usually does, about 50 people, and they go around the table real quick, and everyone says who they are, where they're from. An opportunity came up for each person to kind of stand up and say something. I stood up, and I don't know, it took maybe, what, sweetie, 30 seconds, a minute, 60 seconds, I guess.
You were like, everyone was like with their mouth open saying, oh, wow, he's more famous than Amy.
No, but the funny thing is that at lunchtime, which was like an hour later, they all came crowding around our table wanting our business card. All I did was tell them what I do, work from home, build a residual income, got an international bid. I didn't cover the list of 10, but I hit them pretty well in 30 seconds or so. People came up and said, what do you do? I want to know what you do. We even sponsored some people from that. We got Lupita, who lives right here in San Diego. But the point is this, you've got to
tell them how much she charges for 6 motivational talks that we do.
$18,000. Yeah, her seminar is free, but when you go to it and you get a free lunch, you get a little box lunch. And so she gives you a free lunch, but she's going to pitch you on becoming your coach for $18,000. That's the package. And you can pay over, I think, was it 6 months? You can take 6 months to make payments.
4 months, I think.
But the point, she got a few credit cards. I mean, for $18,000, how many people do you got to get to buy your package to make it worthwhile? She flew down from Washington to San Diego, and all she did was put a Facebook ad out there, coming to San Diego, looking for entrepreneurs that would like to have some coaching, blah, 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 for free.
Do that.
50 people showed up. All right. So, but anyhow, that's, you got to put yourself out there. Let me give you another one. Facebook, Barry Blake. Barry Blake wanted to expose himself to some people, and that sounds funny, expose himself. He wanted to get involved in a group, and so what he did was he joined a cooking group on Facebook. He found a cooking group, he joined it, he started talking to people about cooking because he loves to cook. Then he started talking about, like, sweetie, you could do this one, ProTF, and Gabby can talk about baking, join a baking group, talk about how you use ProTF to bake with, making cookies and cakes and stuff. But you need to join social groups. And when COVID calms down, join your local chamber of commerce. The chambers of commerce, they want to know who the people are in the neighborhood that do business so they can connect you. All right. You need to go buy some parts for the washing machine. Go to Joe's hardware store. You want to go buy some corn? Go down the street to so-and-so selling corn. They try to connect the people in the community. Chamber of Commerce. They have events. They've got meetings. Usually it's once a month. Go mingle with people. Put yourself out there. It's called networking on purpose or with purpose. Okay. Now, the next one This is kind of my, I don't know, it's Dave Daughtrey's rule, all right? And this is if you want to get to platinum. If you're serious about getting to platinum, you've got to do this. There's no other way. And that is learning to be a network marketing driver. Be a networking driver. What's a driver? A driver is someone who grabs the wheel, knows how to shift the gears, knows the difference between a brake and an accelerator, and they know how to move forward. And what you do is you invite people on your bus, your for-life vehicle. They get on the bus. Now you're going to train them. You're going to work with them. You're going to teach them. And your goal is to get into their circle of influence. Who do they know? You want to meet their people. Why? Unless you've been successful in business, in life, in anything really, you don't have that credibility yet with the people that know you. They're going to judge you. Those that know us look at us and they judge us for what we've accomplished in life. And unfortunately, they measure everything by money. If you're driving a Ferrari and living in a mansion on a hill, they're going to listen to you. If you're living like I was in a slummy apartment, sleeping on the floor in a futon, you don't have much credibility. But guess what? When you talk to a stranger, you get to be who you want to be. You're the platinum. You think like a platinum. You talk like a platinum. You act like a platinum. And no one is going to look at you funny when you tell them about borrowed immunity or you tell them about residual income. But you go tell your family, friends, and neighbors about it, and they go, yeah, right, residual income. How's your residual income? All right? Or borrowed immunity. What do you know? You're not a doctor. You see, they know you. Strangers can't judge you. And I've always found my greatest success and the best way for me to better myself and learn and grow is working other people's market, because their people, my presentation. And if I do a good job, if they invite me and I get to talk to their people, guess what? They sponsor one or two people, they're going to bring me more of an audience. And that's what's happening now. I did a call, I speak Spanish. So the Portuguese group under Kevin, Ricardo, I was on his call yesterday. He had on, get this guy's been in the business 90 days. 90 days. You know how many people were on his Zoom training? He had a workshop yesterday. Over 150 people. His Zoom room maxed out. Nobody else could get in. So they went to YouTube. He had over 50 people on the YouTube listening, but over 150 people, 90 days in the business. He's got 5 diamonds. He's looking at going presidential diamond himself this month, you see. And the thing is, I'm talking to these people. They were complete strangers to me. Well, up until 90 days ago. But the point is, if you declare yourself a leader, those that know you might think you're funny, but the strangers, they have no idea. You be who you want to be. Be that platinum, all right? So become a networking driver. And that's basically it, you guys, for today. I wanted to talk about, the benefits of networking. I hope you can memorize those. I'll put the list up on my website, davedaughtry.com, and the education library in 3 languages. It'll be up there by the weekend in PDF, and then you can just download it. Memorize those benefits, and then memorize the 5 or 6 things we talked about in networking and having a prospect list. Active list all the time. Expand that list. Create or increase your awareness. Always be aware of your surroundings. Take advantage of every possible opportunity to do some networking. All right. Don't prejudge anybody. All right. Networking with purpose. All right. And learning to be a driver. And that's it. Anybody have any questions or comments they'd like to share as we finish our intimate little group here?
Dave, there is one question from Kaylin Tan about overcoming the rejection. Is that with COVID-19, their job's not very stable, and they don't want to add any expenses. What would be something you would say to overcome that? Because that's
sell it before you buy it. Splurge, spend the $25 or $10, depending on what market, or if you're in Ecuador, it's free. In fact, most countries right now, the sign up is free. Bolivia is free, Ecuador is free. Some places it's $25, all right? Spend the $25 to start your business, okay? And then talk to people. And you can have somebody buy product right from your website, and guess who gets the life points? You do. Now, you're not going to get a commission on those first 100 life points because that's your qualification. But what if you had 200 or 300 or 400 life points in a month? The first 100 qualifies you, and the other 300 you just made money on. And you didn't even buy a thing. It all comes down to the way you share it with people. Sell it before you buy it, if you have to do that. Okay? Now, I like people, of course, that can just come right on in. I want them to experience the product, especially the high impact products like energy or the protein, and obviously if they're sick or something's going on, you want to get on plus, but with a high impact product, they get to experience it very quickly. And energy is one of the best ones. Aqua is another great one, if you have aqua in your market. But yeah, you can sell it before you buy it. That's what I would tell them. $25, start your business and make a fortune. Hey, I had, what I did, you guys, I borrowed money. That Gabby probably remembers who the guy was that helped me start my business. He even got me a car. And I couldn't believe it. The guy got me my little Toyota Corolla to help me out. His name was Hector. Good friend. Yeah, he actually came to the convention. Do you remember Hector, Kevin? He's at the launch of the protein. He lives in Arizona. So anyhow, anyone else any questions or comments? All right, you guys. Well, everyone, thanks for joining in. Enjoy your Thursday evening, or Angie, your Thursday afternoon over there in New Zealand. I'm sorry, Friday afternoon. Friday
yes,
afternoon,
weekend for me.
That's right. So, but, and keep on going. I know you're doing great over there. All right. And just keep on doing what you're doing. So you guys, thanks. We love you all. Thanks for being part of our team, the For Life family. Have a great evening, everybody. We'll talk to y'all really soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Gabby. Good to see you.
Bye-bye.
Angie.